So a lot of composers really struggle in getting their first gig, getting their second gig, and they don't know where to look. They don't know what they need. They spend time on the wrong things. If you're like how I was, you're probably feeling a little lost and don't even know where to start. You don't have to, though. It's actually a really straightforward process to finding work. This system works for any niche, if it's video games, sonic branding, film scoring. Just follow the steps and you can find work for sure. Because at the end of the video, I'll give you access to a checklist that has everything you need to start finding work as a composer and will really simplify what you should spend time on versus what you're wasting your time on right now. You're probably really familiar with this cycle. You need experience to get work, but you can't get work without experience. This is common in every industry, not just film scoring, not just music. And it becomes really frustrating when you're starting out because how do you get experience when you can't get work? How do you get work when you need experience? What do you do? Fortunately for you, this is not true in freelancing and film scoring. That cycle is a lot more relevant in the corporate world, but in scoring, it's actually a little less relevant. We create our own experience in this world. We call that our portfolio. Our portfolio demonstrates what we are capable of. It is an example of our experiences, our capabilities, our techniques. Portfolios are also the reason why you hear people say degrees, certifications, etc. don't really matter in film scoring or game scoring. Even on especially on lower paying gigs like indie films, student projects, etc., it's even less relevant. Demonstrating you have the ability to compose and produce music is usually way more than enough. Your portfolio is something you are entirely in control of. In fact, you're probably not even going to write your best work on a project, and your portfolio will consist of pieces you wrote outside of projects. Before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of gigs, let's talk about some ways composers waste time on things they think they need versus what they actually need to start getting work. I've made a list for you. There are nice-to-haves and needs-to-haves. Now, it's nice to have a website, an Instagram, business cards, credits, really fancy gear, crazy levels of talent, the perfect branding, blah, blah, blah. If you take a look at this list, all the stuff on the nice-to-haves is marketing. But on the needs-to-have list, we have a portfolio, which functions as an MVP or a minimal viable product. This is the bare minimum concept of an idea you need to get your point across. And this is the minimum viable product. If you ever go on a game jam, you'll see 12-year-olds writing insane levels of music. You don't need to go all out, hire an orchestra, go crazy, and write the most complex piece of music. Just write something good that shows you can do it, and you can start getting work. No matter what level you're in, people will be interested. On top of a portfolio, you need the ability and gear to produce, which your portfolio demonstrates you can do, an internet connection, and the motivation and tenacity to stick with it. It is so bare minimum. If you have music to show, you can get work. But the key idea with a portfolio is what you put out is what you take in. That means if you want to work in game music, write music for games. This isn't really about style of music, but how you position yourself as a composer. It does lean to that branding thing a bit, but think of it in terms of your portfolio itself. You could have 5 linear pieces of music, or you could do game music and have music that branches. You can have it music that layers. You can try different things and even make your music interactive on your website. Show that you know what you're doing. If you're doing games, write music, show that you understand the concept of how game music is made. So on your website, you can demonstrate you understand how game music works beyond an aesthetic level. So create a script that lets you manipulate the music and interact with it rather than just being a linear experience. If you're doing films, write a couple cues. If you're doing sonic branding, put together packages, not just cues, but show like a whole interactive package of how the music would work together. You want to demonstrate you don't just have the ability, but the knowledge to do the specific task. So your portfolio is basically your resume. You can build your own experience and by just writing tracks for it. You don't need to wait for credits to come in. The common practice is to have 3 to 5 pieces of music demonstrating the best of your ability, typically with audio and no picture. The reason being is if you're submitting to directors or game developers, they may be judging the visuals much more than they're judging the music, and they forget that you really only did the music. If you let them hear the music and mentally put their own image in, it's a lot stronger than if you were to just give them the image and hear it that way. So 3 to 5 tracks, that's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just show them what you're capable of. No one is actually going to listen to all the tracks straight through, as much as we would like that. A lot of times they're just going to click and check little pieces out. So make sure they're strong throughout the track. The problem with too many tracks is it gets overwhelming. You don't want to give them an idea of the entirety of the scope you can do. You just want to show off what your the best of the best. Once you have your portfolio together, there's a lot we could do to make our first contact. I would typically start with what we call low-hanging fruit. These are the ones that are easy to reach. You don't need a ladder, metaphorically speaking. These are sort of the easier to get projects. They may be lower budget, or no budget, but they are a credit and they will help you get more work in the future, as well as building your network out for times when these guys might have a budget. So these are the projects you might want to consider. Student films, game jams, 48-hour film festivals, anything that's high pressure but low stakes is a great way to gain experience as a composer. You can find these on Facebook, on Instagram, game jams on Itch. Or you can go into the sonic branding world. Hit up local video agencies. If you're interested in sonic branding, check out Electric Raindrop Audio, my sonic branding agency, and I will be putting out a lot more content about that soon. Besides these low-hanging fruit, which are great, there is a whole other way we can get gigs. Cold contacting. Now, cold contacts is a bit of a hot topic in the composer world, where a lot of experienced composers will tell you, don't do this, it's a waste of time. But I think a reason that happens is a lot of composers don't do it well, and directors and game developers get annoyed because, for the most part, the emails they're getting aren't good. So a lot of composers say that, but personally, I think it's one of the best ways if you understand what you're doing. I like to think of this almost like dating. You're sitting on your couch on a Friday night, and you're alone. And suddenly the person of your dreams just texts you and asks you for coffee. You've never met them before. Well, wouldn't that be something you wanted? I just solved all your problems, and you want me to work on your film for you? I'm the perfect person? Now, if you think of it like that, you may realize, okay, like, how do I text them? And the secret is to make it about them. Get them excited about their own project and the potential for it. And we'll talk about this in a bit, but the first thing you want to do is find a gig online via whatever platform you choose and throw your hat in the ring. Shoot them an email or a DM and let them know you'd be interested in at least chatting with them about their project. Checklist that I mentioned that is coming at the end of this video will also have information about cold contacting, what to include and what not to include. But let me know in the comments if you want a full video on my cold contact techniques, as well as how I get gigs more in depth. So you find gigs online, you shoot them an email, or you DM them, and you let them know you'd be interested in chatting with them. Start with the ask first, and be sure to link your portfolio. If you're interested in a video where I critique cold emails, show some of mine, and talk about pitches, let me know in the comments and maybe we'll do it. But the biggest thing with cold contacting, though, is be very ready to be rejected. You can send out 10, 20, 30 emails and never hear back from any of them. However, for me, I've personally gotten emails back 6-7 months after I shot it. You never know. The thing with cold emails is you really need to get comfortable with rejection because, one, some people may already have a composer. 2, you never know if they're actually going to answer you. But most importantly, 3, it's a numbers game. Even if you make the 100 contacts and you hear 2 or 3 back, that's 2 or 3 more gigs than you would have had you not made 100 emails. And as you do it, you kind of realize, one, what works and what doesn't. You kind of realize what to look for when qualifying your leads, and you get a lot better with it over time, so that percentage goes up and up. Cold DMs work great when you need immediate gigs, but there's a better long-term plan to be had. Now, we call this warming a cold lead, and we do that by building a relationship. And we actually build a relationship. These are not people. Artists are not just opportunities for work, but they are people. You watch their shorts, you play their games, you let them know your thoughts. Comment on their posts. Don't ask them for work. Just be friendly, be their friend, but more importantly, be genuine. Your goal is to be in their mind. not in their wallet. Eventually, if and when they are doing another project, they may already be familiar with who you are, the work you do, and how supportive of you, and how much you support them. And they'll be much more likely to want to chat with you than some random guy sliding into their DMs on the internet, which you may have been earlier. So that gives you an incredible advantage if you already have a relationship with them before they're looking for a composer. And honestly, it's easy to just watch a short, shoot someone an email. Every artist, almost every director will have a website. Every game developer will have a website. Find their email, find their Instagram, just connect with them, get to know who they are, and support them over time. Watch shorts on YouTube, comment. Connecting with people outside of your bubble. You never know when something will come up and they'll think of you. However, if you have the opportunity to attend mixers, film festivals, or conferences like GDC, this is by far the best thing you can do. This is an absolutely golden opportunity if you are speaking or your music is performing here, or like it's a film or a concert. But a public performance, an in-person thing, is one of the strongest ways to get gigs. You can meet people online all day, every day, but your connection will be so much stronger if you meet them in person. That's just the way it is. So if you're in a large metropolitan area or even a smaller town, see if you have a local filmmaking group. It could be a group that's run on Instagram. It could be a local nonprofit. You could have a little game dev group. You never know, but just try to find something local. You can search on Google, search on Facebook, try finding something on Instagram, ask around. Ask your local college even if they know any clubs or activities going on. Because even though they have students, the students are probably involved with something local to help them get experience too. And that would be a great, great thing for you if you can get connected locally with some artists. So that's pretty much it. Like I said in the beginning, I have a free PDF checklist available for you on my email where you can sign up. You'll have an example cold email, you get a checklist of everything you need, you'll get a lot more information, and it'll even be a 7-day course where every day I will walk you through, step by step, the next step in the process from going to I don't know anybody to hopefully getting your first gig in 7 days. If you like this content, I also have a few blog posts on this matter linked below. And my podcast, Coffee with Composers, may be of use as well. I talk with other composers how they got started. We talk creativity techniques, business techniques, and more.